Good evening, everyone. This is Rick Avery with the Sports Affiliation with Friday Night Draft Fights. I am with my guest, Jay Felicio. Did I say it right?
You nailed it, man. You got it right on the
Awesome.
money.
Awesome. I'm sure that gets messed up from time to time.
Just the tad throughout my childhood and my adulthood, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You are with QB List. Let me see here. Is that the exact website, qblist.com, or
Yes.
what's
Yep.
the URL?
It's a sister site to Pitcher List. So you go to QB List, it'll be there, but you might also see football.pitcherlist.com. Either one of those works fine.
Okay. And you released the list with rankings for week 10. You got top 50 flex and positional rankings for week 10 fantasy football. And you have blurbs about players
Yep,
on that as
absolutely.
well.
Yeah. So we have four of us that do the ranks over there. Myself, Brian Hartman, Eric Romoff, and Steve Pinato, Pintato, excuse me. Brian Hartman actually finished ranked number one for running backs last week. So we've had a couple of top 10 finishes in the Fantasy Pros accuracy, and then also, yeah, like you were saying, I do a start sit that comes out on Thursdays that I go through every single game and give a recommendation, give a blurb. Some of it, there's like for instance for the Ravens and the Vikings, my recommendation to sit the Vikings defense is just a picture of Lamar Jackson. So I like to add some humor in there, and
Mhm.
especially with the obvious things. But
Awesome. And you'll be playing for childsplaycharity.org. Do you want to tell us a little bit something about that charity?
yeah, absolutely. So, like I was talking to you before we got on, those of us who grew up in the '90s, it's an interesting choice of name for the charity, but it's a really great cause. It's basically they provide video games as a distraction for kids in hospitals. And Rick, I don't know if you know this. I don't advertise it, but it's nothing that I'm ashamed of or anything like that. I was born with an immune deficiency. That's why I'm a Duke fan. We moved from New York to North Carolina because of my immune deficiency, and I know firsthand the impact of while you're sitting there for hours getting a treatment, just to have video games and sit there and
Mhm.
play. And I mean, I'm going to date myself a little bit. They used to have one huge cart with a TV that they would roll around with an NES, and when that would come in my room, man, it was like Christmas. So it just it's really near and dear to my heart. And like I said, I know the impact it has firsthand.
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely keeps your mind off while you're there in the first place. We're
Big
just
time.
distracted. So yeah, that's a
Exactly.
great charity to pick. I'm going to play for Salem. The SalemPantry.org is the website. They are called the Salem Pantry right now. Uh, Food is a big thing with benefits being cut around the country. So I think everyone deserves something to eat based where we live. We are one of the richest countries in the world, if not the richest. So people should definitely be able to eat. Uh,
Absolutely.
so I'm going to go ahead and pick them. I did go ahead and win last week. I don't have a score thing for it. I just didn't feel like showing it because the person I played, Coach Craig Sports, didn't set a lineup. But oh well, free money to charity.
There you go.
Iggy is in the chat.
Iggy, what's
What's
up,
up?
man?
And we have Pete in the chat as well. How you doing,
Hey,
Pete? Uh, before we started, you gave me the option to go first, which I do greatly appreciate. So I will
absolutely.
go ahead and pick my first player, and we'll get this thing rolling. We'll go with a running back with a 30-point team total. And if this quarterback doesn't go off, I'm going to get a lot of points. I'm going to go with James Cook, the third, as my first pick at 7,500.
That's a great choice. That's actually he's my RB1 overall for the week. So you can't go wrong with that. I had somebody else I was eyeing, but I once you said you're worried about the quarterback going off, I knew it wasn't the same guy. But I don't know. Do you want me to go ahead and talk about it, or do you want to talk about why you like James Cook first?
I just like James Cook because he catches the ball. It's good for PPR points. He hasn't caught the ball much the last two games because he really hasn't had to.
Right.
He's had 56 touches the last two games. So that's about 28 touches per game, and he's going over 100 yards. He's gotten 114 yards against the Chiefs last week. He's got 216 yards against the Carolina Panthers, and he's going against the atrocious Miami Dolphins defense.
Unless they're playing Bijan Robinson, then they're not.
I'm going back to the well. I'm attacking the Dolphins defense again.
That's a good move. So for my first pick, like I said, I am going running back, and I was a little concerned once you said you were, but once you said worry about the quarterback going off, I don't have to worry about that with Quinshon Judkins against the Jets. There was some people who are not too keen on the matchup, but the Jets have not been great against the run. They've allowed 3 different running backs to go over 100 rushing yards over the past 2 weeks. They allowed the 3rd most points to the position, and they just got rid of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, one of the best run stoppers in the league. So I'm very high on Quinshon Judkins this week, and I think he's gonna, they don't want to put the ball in Dylan Gabriel's hands, so I think they're gonna ride Quinshon Judkins pretty hard on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback. I think the Cleveland defense is going to dominate, and the Browns are just going to control the ball.
Absolutely.
With them being pretty good favorites. Joe Carlton's in the chat. How you doing, Joe? All right. With my second pick, rather, let me look here. I don't want to take a quarterback early, but I'll take a receiver, I guess.
Okay.
I know you're a fan of the New York Giants. Is that right?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go with Wan'Dale Robinson
That's a great pick
as my value pick against the Chicago Bears. If anyone watched the games last week, the Bears defense didn't exist at all against the Bengals. Oops, let me just switch that over. There we go. I think Jackson Dart, they have a 21.25 point live implied total with the Bears being 26. So I think Jackson Dart's going to play from behind based off the implied odds. And I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to get a good target share of that.
Yeah, I love that pick, and not just because I'm a Giants fan. I work very hard to make sure that I don't let my fandom impact my analysis whatsoever. But I have this week against Chicago, like you said, they're going to be behind. I have Jackson Dart as my QB5 overall. I think he's going to be in for a big game because in fantasy, just like DFS, garbage time points still count all the same. So I think there's going to be plenty of that. And he's shown that he can, he's capable. And the one bright spot for this season is going to be that it looks like we probably actually finally have a QB of the future. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure.
I was debating going wide receiver, but I think I'm actually going to double up at the running back position and pay up a little bit. It's been a little disappointing this year, but I really like his matchup. Derrick Henry for the Baltimore Ravens against Minnesota. He's only rushed for 100 yards 2 times this year. I'm sorry, 2 times in the past 3 games. And I think he's got a really good shot at doing it this week against Minnesota. They faced zone runs at the second highest rate, 54.1%. And teams have a top 5 success rate against them. And King Henry has the 5th highest yards per carry on zone concept runs. And it's about what he runs 61% of the time. So I think that he's set up pretty well to I think we're going to have a vintage King Henry game this week.
Do you think that game is going to shoot out at all? Like be one of the highest scoring games of the week?
Yeah, I do. I think I know people are down on him, but I like JJ McCarthy from a fantasy perspective. I think that, even though it was rough, but he showed enough that we don't have to worry about Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. And I don't necessarily buy what we saw from the Ravens defense last week. So I do. I think this is a game that I'm attacking from a fantasy standpoint, and hopefully 1 or 2 more times while we're sitting here talking.
Okay. Good pick there, Derrick Henry. That helps me out a bunch because I'm going to take my quarterback here. Since you took the running back on his team, I'm going to take Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, can't
That's
argue with
one
that.
reason I was asking if it was going to shoot out at all. I
There
put
you
a
go. Do
I
me
put a
dirty.
bet. I put a bet 2 or 3 weeks ago when Lamar Jackson was supposed to be back for the Ravens to win the division because they have the easiest schedule
Ooh.
in the NFL going forward. So far, it's looking good.
Yeah, I say so.
Yeah, I think this game's going to shoot out. Let me go back here. Let's see. Where was it? At team over under right now for the game's 49 points, and it's going up. I don't think the Vikings defense is that good. Lamar Jackson's ankle should be better, so he should be able to run the ball more. And I'm just leveraging your Derrick Henry. I'm just hoping that he scores the touchdowns running the ball, or maybe passing the ball over Derrick Henry here.
No, I get you. I think it's a great pick, and I could definitely see that happening. Lamar's one of my favorite players in the entire league. He's just fun to watch, and he's game script proof because of what he's able to do on the ground. I could see a situation where they both go off, especially if this turns into a shootout. But we've seen it time and time again with those two that they both can just go nuts.
There's like a stat too, like Lamar Jackson's like only lost like 2 games to like NFC teams, and it's
Really,
like
that does not surprise. And I think one of them, I think the Giants randomly beat him a couple years ago, like when they had no business winning a game, but they wound up, blowing their draft status like they always do. And man, you may have changed my next pick.
Good.
Yeah, I think you did because I might need a second here because I don't want to do what I was going to do now. So well done there. Let's see. You know what? I am going to go to the tight end position. I'm going to go to foggy London town and go with Mr. Kyle Pitts. I know he's been a volatile name.
Is
he available in this?
but
Because it's Sunday.
he is not available.
That. That's right. That stinks. You know what? I will go to. I'm going to go with go to my Giants. I'm going to go with Theo Johnson for a cheap tight end. Since Jackson Dart's become the starter, he's got 50% of his passing touchdowns, most targets inside the 20 on the team, and the most end zone targets over that frame. Bears are a decent matchup, but the thing I like is they've given up a touchdown to the tight end position 3 of the last 4 games, so I think there's a good shot that he gets in the end zone this week.
Yeah. I love Theo Johnson. He's my tight end in my 0 tight end builds for sure. I hate the tight end position. Sorry, Coop. But I hate the tight end position. So I usually tank that towards my later pick in drafts.
I'm with you. That's the way I approach drafts. Tip, what's up, man?
Tip, how you doing?
That's what I do too. I think because so often you see people pay up for the tight end, and for every Trey McBride, you've got what happened with Brock Bowers this year. It's year after year, and I thought George Kittle was a pretty decent value this year, but even that bit you. So I do the same thing. I generally tend to fade the tight end position and take 1 or 2 towards the back end of the draft and hope one of them hits.
Yep. Yeah, Theo Johnson's one of my favorite tight ends this year. Except it was the Denver game. Bellinger was getting the catches, and I was losing my mind.
That's the way it goes, man. That's the game we love.
Yeah. All righty. With my next pick, since I have Lamar Jackson, and I think this game's going to shoot out, I might as well get Zay Flowers on my team.
I love that pick.
He's gotten 14 targets the last 2 games, 12 catches. He got a rushing attempt. He just needs a touchdown, and one thing he could do is beat the Vikings over the top. Devonta Smith crushed Minnesota a few weeks ago. Zay Flowers is kind of that same mold. I'm going to go with Zay Flowers at 5,900 and hope to get us this game sheets out.
I love that. I think that's a great call. And he was one of the guys that I was eyeing that you may have changed my mind on. May have been him, may have been somebody else on the Ravens. I won't divulge too much information there. Let's see. A couple different ways we could go here. Bear with me here.
Yeah, no worries.
Couple ways I can go, and debating which way I want to here. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to play a little defense here. I actually am going to go with my original pick. It's going to be Rashad Bateman. And for all the same reasons you said, Zay Flowers, just a lot cheaper. And
right.
What I like about the matchup with Minnesota is they've been tormented by the deep ball this year, giving up 5 passing touchdowns over 20 yards, to almost 25 yards per attempt, and a league high 72.2% completion rate on deep balls. So I'm basically similar to my shot with Theo Johnson. I'm going for the dollar scratch off and hoping he gets a big play.
All right. I think people are tired of us talking about the Ravens, but I'm not done yet.
I was just thinking, we both have too. But hey, man, that tells you something. If we were both eyeing the same game, I think that tells you enough.
Yep. With my next pick, I'm going to go with Mark Andrews as my tight end.
Ravens game, haven't heard anything about that one tonight.
Yeah. He got 2 touchdowns last week. Interesting thing about Lamar Jackson is when he goes off, typically 2 pass catchers go off with him. So I'm going to go with the 2 prime ones that he likes to target, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. And hopefully this game, like I said, goes off. If it doesn't, I'm screwed. So
I'm right there with
other
you,
than Lamar Jackson, but
yeah,
we're going with it. We're going to go Lamar Jackson stack with Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews.
I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's like you said, I hope we're able to. I hope this game does go off, because if not, we're going to be in some trouble.
Right. Well, you have Derrick Henry, so it could balance it out.
That's true. That's very true. Let's see. So got 2 backs. I can use some wide receivers. There's a couple of wide receivers I like left, so I might. Let's go. Yeah, I don't need to take my quarterback.
No.
Can you go over to the wide receivers? I just want to see the prices.
Yeah, of course. So you got Nakua, JSN, St. Brown, 84, Jefferson, Adams, Buka, Collins.
You know what? I'm going to go back to the Giants Bears, and I'm going to go with Rome Odunze. I know he had a big old goose egg last week, but he's due. He's gonna bounce back in a big way. And the Giants defense, while the pass rush has been pretty decent, has not been great. So been a lot of talk. It's one of those that he's due, and I got a gut feeling that he's gonna have a get right game against the Giants.
Yep, for sure. Rome Odunze played one of the best corners in the NFL, and DJ Turner. He is a shutdown corner on wide receiver ones. People may not know that based off the team he plays for, but do
Right.
not play wide receiver ones against the Bengals. That's usually
You
the
know
other
what?
players that go off, the tight end or a running back.
That's some good
Interesting fact.
information. I'm gonna need to dig a little more into it. I've heard the name, but I've not dug into the Bengals defense a whole lot. So you might have just taught me something there. So I appreciate
I learned about it last week when I played a lot of Roma Dunze.
that. Funny how that works.
Yeah, I had Caleb Williams stacked with Roma Dunze and DJ Moore in my on some tournament lineups. So that didn't help a lot. You need Loveland, Moore, and Williams to be
Yeah, the thing
winning
with
some money.
Loveland, I know people are all in on him, but most of that didn't come until after Cole Kmet left with a concussion.
Right.
So be careful with those. But that's like what you're talking about. That's the game. You know, you
That's
have
the
that
game.
one little thing that you can't predict, and how it goes.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to go with a defense here just so I know where I'm at salary wise. And I talked about this defense earlier. I'm going to go with the Browns defense against Jets. Doesn't matter who's starting at quarterback, I don't think. The Browns are going to eat. So we're going to go Browns defense. I play the Browns defense a lot in this series, and we're going to continue rolling it with it. Browns against the Jets. They could sack Tyrod, and they could sack Fields and make him make some poor decisions. So we're going to go Browns defense.
I like that. I actually, I was going to attack the defense as well. You mind hopping over there real quick for me just so I can see the prices?
Yeah, of course.
And we are still on yours on here.
Yeah, I'm just
all good. No worries. Mr. Baton. You know what? I think I am going to go with the Detroit Lions against the Commanders. I know they will have Marcus Mariota, but they have the second most sacks in the league, and they're holding teams under 23 points per game. So I like their chances to, you know, Mariota's he'll come up with some big plays, but also have some bonehead plays where he'll turn the ball over. So
yeah, it's also a revenge game. So the Lions like to perform in revenge games.
that's true.
They
Think about that.
had revenge against Ben Johnson and the Bears, and then this week they got the Commanders and the playoff revenge spot.
I like that. That's a great call. I didn't even think of the revenge narrative. If there's any team that you can buy into that, it's definitely the Lions. 100%.
Oh yeah, they like to run it up and make teams pay for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. For this team to work, I have to make a crazy pick. I don't like it because then I can't get to a certain player. So I'm just gonna pull the Band-Aid off now. We're gonna take Travion Henderson against the Buccaneers.
I am not a fan of you right now. Great pick.
With Ramondre Stevenson out. He's in line for hopefully most of the carries. I forgot the guy who was taking most of them. Let's see if I can remember his name.
You talk about the undrafted rookie that's still on there?
Yeah, it's like
Terrell Jennings.
Terrell Jennings, yes.
Yeah, because let's give the carries to an undrafted free agent instead of the guy we took in the second round.
Yeah, but hopefully it turns around here. We're gonna go with Travion Henderson. Hopefully Vontavia doesn't eat him alive. We'll go with Travion Henderson in a pretty high-scoring game. This one is going to be 48 points as the over-under. So hopefully we can get some Travion Henderson touchdown in this game.
Yeah, I'm not too happy right now with you, but I do get it because I've got a lot of him in fantasy. I was very heavily invested in Travion, so I'm glad that hopefully maybe Mike Vrabel is forced to actually give him the ball. But I'm going to stick in the same game, but on the other side with a Buccaneers wide receiver, and it might not be the one that you're thinking. I'm going to go with Tez Johnson. It's a game, like you said, high game total, pushing 50. He's averaging over the past 3 games. He's got over 12 points a game. Has 15 targets over the past 2. So I think he's a good cheap option to give me a little bit of salary to work with here at the end in a game that should be pretty high scoring.
Yeah. So I was originally for me to get this one player, I had to swap off Henderson and I could have got Egbuka, and then I could have got another running back, but I don't want to say who it is just in case he might pick him up.
Okay. May or may not be on your running back. So
it would have been a perfect swap for that, but I decided to go for it. So hopefully it works out. So you got a quarterbacks and a flex left with 75.50 left for your remaining salary. And I have a wide receiver in flex with the average remaining salary of 6,300. And I was talking about revenge earlier from the Lions. We're going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs as my flex against the Washington defense. Just the Washington defense is just like the Washington Commanders is hurt. Oops, let me go back. So I think he is going to have himself a game. Last time he scored over 20 DraftKings points was against Tampa Bay, but in that Chicago game I was talking about week 2, he got around 20 points. So at $8,000, I'm looking for a floor of 24, and I think he can get there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that pick. I think it's a game, like you said, it's a game, one of those that you want every piece possible of. And do I want to go? That's one of the games I was looking at. There's another one that we've already touched on. Let's see. Okay, let's head on, and I've just got flex and quarterback left.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go. If we're gonna go all in on this Baltimore Minnesota game, let's go all in on it. Go over to the wide receiver and get that man right there, Mr. Justin Jefferson. He's due for a Justin Jefferson-esque game. He's been, even though he's been good, he's been at or close to 20 points most of the years. Hasn't had that big blow up game, and I think this could be it.
Yeah. The one thing that worries me about the Vikings is, I think you touched on it, but the Ravens defense the last few games, ever since they played the Rams, has been looking better and better each week.
Absolutely.
So that might pressure McCarthy into making some poor throws, but hopefully Jefferson gets his targets. What was his targets last? He got 20 targets last 2 games, so yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and he's.
Do you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, everybody. It's well known that Justin Jefferson, he needs one pet catch to take it to the house. So, that's basically what I'm banking on, the volume, and even if the defense is playing better, that he's able to break one.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go ahead and pick your quarterback here, since I already have one?
Yes. And there's 2 guys in the same game that I've been debating here. I'm going to actually go with the revenge narrative of guys against you, and I'll go with the Caleb Williams Rome Odunze stack against the Giants. I was debating either Caleb Williams or Jackson Dart. It's another game that I want a lot, as many pieces as I can get. I think it's going to be good. It's not going to be quite as pretty, but I definitely think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game.
Okay. Now I just have to just warn you. You do have $1,200 salary left. You don't want Josh Allen?
No, because I just don't. I don't like taking those obvious plays again.
Okay.
It's especially as terrible as the Dolphins have been against the run. I'm I'm with your James Cook pick. He's my RB1 overall. I think he's going to go off, and I think they're going to right some of the wrongs the last week of Josh Allen taking a lot of that goal line work. It could blow up in my face, but I've got a feeling about Caleb Williams this week.
All right. And with my last pick, who will I take? I have 4,600 left. Can't take much, but I want someone in the late slate. Just in case I'm down, we'll go with Juwan Jennings.
I like that.
12 targets the last 2 games. He's very underpriced for 4,600. Mac Jones is playing this week, so hopefully the rapport.
Did they make that official?
Yeah.
Okay.
A few hours ago.
Okay.
I had to switch all my lineups because I have Mac Jones and Purdy on both teams, so I have to swap them out every week because all the projections are on Purdy, and then when Friday comes along, I have to swap them back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me just go back here. All right, so my team is Lamar Jackson at quarterback, James Cook at running back, Travion Henderson at running back, Wan'Dale Robinson at receiver, Zay Flowers at receiver, Juwan Jennings at receiver, Mark Andrews at tight end, Jahmyr Gibbs at my flex, and the Browns defense. I think the Lions game is also at 4:25. Yep. So we got two good players at the end. You might have to sweat. And then for your team, you have Caleb Williams, Keanshaw Johnson, Judd Kidd, Derrick Henry, Rashad Bateman, Roma Dunze, Tez Johnson, Theo Johnson, Justin Jefferson, and the Lions. You should have got Juwan Johnson from the Saints. Do that. You have the Johnsons team.
Yeah, get the whole lineup. Yeah, I know it might be a little bit of a crazy move going with Caleb over Josh Allen, but it's one of those that don't feel like the chalk is the play.
I don't think. Let me just take a look and see if he is chalk. I'm just gonna pull up a little thing here. See if he is chalk. Let's see, projected ownership.
Using some DFS lingo for probably the wrong way.
So yeah, projected ownership wise, chalk wise, Josh Allen's 14% to Caleb's worth 2%.
Okay.
So people are building. If they're building lineups right now, Josh Allen's in 14% of lineups, and Caleb Williams is in 2%.
Gotcha.
Let me see here. And then, like in DFS projections, Josh Allen's 21.71 to Caleb Williams 19.7, but it's just 2 points. That's not a big deal based off the implied totals. With the Bills getting 30 points as an implied total, 2 points isn't too big of a deal.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, it's definitely going down narrative street, but there's a chance that he doesn't have to do a whole lot, and I think Caleb's either way. If the Giants are able to score, he'll be involved, and if they dominate the Giants, he'll be a big part of it.
Well, thank you for hopping on, Jay. It was fun playing with you. The charity you picked again was childsplaycharity.org. If you feel like donating, the donate button's on the right-hand side in red. You use it. And you are on QB list doing rankings and start sits. Is there any other articles that you're doing?
In season, that's pretty much the majority of it. I do have I record a podcast on Sunday nights that comes out about mid-morning or Monday afternoon called Sunday Best. And it's about 15 to 20 minutes. I hit most of the major stories from the day. Don't hit everything, but I get as much as anything that's going to have a major impact. I'll hit those, go through, hit the injuries. One thing I do want to shout out to is our team over there. We have what comes out on the day after every game, but specifically Mondays. We have what's called What We Saw. We have a team that watches every single game and writes an article, not just, looking at the box scores and stuff. And it's, it's hard enough for anybody to sit and watch all the games, let alone whether you have kids or other job. I've got 3 kids. I've got a full-time job on top of all this. So it's nice to go and read the what we saw for anything that, that I like to go through and read those, and anything that I may have missed that I want to go dive into. But if you want a snapshot of each individual game, we do every single game, whether it's an island game, Monday, Friday mornings, and then all the rest of the games will be on Monday mornings and Tuesday morning for Monday Night Football. And it's led by Brett Ford, who does an incredible job of getting all those guys and all the writers together they put in a lot of work. I just wanted to give them a shout out.
Yeah. And this is the YouTube channel.
Still in its infancy. We just started it like a week before the season, and the podcasts to go up there. I've put some shorts up there as well. So definitely going to be putting more and more on there as the season goes on, and through the off season as well. But still, about a couple months old, and we're getting there.
Yep. Just started in August. And you can check them at youtube.com /at the QB list. I'll have to check that out. I have watched your Sunday show. It's pretty
cool.
fun.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And I do want to do a quick shout out as well before I end the show. This show was featured on the what was it? I have it pulled up. The Fantasy Football Expo newsletter.
Nice.
Which was awesome. Brightened my
awesome.
day. So if you are listening or watching based off that, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you're watching on X, just go to YouTube. It takes 2 seconds. Also subscribe to the QB list. They have some good content there. And that will do it. Let me check who my next guest is real quick. My next guest for next week is at Johnny Main on X. So that should be a fun one. He's from the Fantasy Football Show or something like that with Nick Wilcox. And I beat Nick Wilcox, so I'm hopefully will beat him as well. And I hope everyone has a great night and great weekend.
Appreciate you having me on, man. A lot of fun.
Thank you.